You sorry?
Yes.
You sorry about what?
Everything.
Jumping in the car with a motherfucker you don't know? Huh?
Yes.
You sorry?
Yes.
You want to say something to your kids?
Mama, sorry.
In January 2003, when St. Louis police searched a house, they discovered a hidden torture room in the basement, along with bondage tools, a stun gun, and most terrifying of all, a videotape labeled Your Wedding Day, which contained graphic footage of a woman being tied up and tortured to death. The police chief ordered that the officers who watched the tape receive psychological counseling because the scenes were so upsetting. "They'll give you nightmares," he told the news. A woman is seen sitting on a man's bed in one of the wedding day tape scenes. After the opening caption, "Another crackhead hoe" appears on the screen. The man in the video begins to ask the women to perform rituals, such as dancing in white clothes or wearing sunglasses with the lenses blackened so that they can't see. Then, after capturing them, he would duct tape their eyes shut and bind them with ropes and handcuffs. Then, either in the bedroom or after dragging them downstairs to the basement and shackling them to a wooden post, he would start tormenting them. The documents released by the police show a man verbally tormenting the women, taunting them about their fate and mocking some of them for abandoning their children for crack. The following was one exchange with an unidentified victim.
I can't hear you what you're saying. Say it clear.
You want the master that pleases me to serve you. You are the master that pleases me to serve you.
Stop for it.
You are the master that pleases me to serve you.
Now you sit your ass down like I said.
In one of the tapes, the man can be seen putting a belt around a woman's neck and pulling it tight until she passes out. After delivering the blow, which police believe was fatal, the man leaves the woman's naked body face down on the floor and is heard saying,
This is first kill number 1. First kill was 19 years old. Name, I don't know. Don't get it. First kill was nice.
One tape found hidden in a wall features many women, all of those presumed to be dead, some of which were forced to state their names on camera. 2 of those remain unidentified, possibly because they gave their street names instead of stating their actual names. Police revealed that the total number of victims were between 12 and 20. When police investigated the basement, they discovered that the walls had been painted over several times, first with paint, then with blood, then with paint, and then with blood again. A letter and a map were mailed to reporter Smith on May 21st, 2002. A neatly placed upside-down American flag was displayed. The return address listed a masochist website featuring chained-up naked women. Within a strange picture of flowers, rakes, and a beehive, Smith found a chilling note typed in red. Nice sob story about Teresa Wilson. Write one about Greenwade. Write a good one, and I'll tell you where many others are. To prove I'm real, here's directions to number 17. Search in a 50-yard radius from the X. Put the story in a Sunday paper like the last one. The second sheet of paper contained a map of nearby West Alton, marked with an X. They went to where the map led them and found the skeletal remains of a woman. She had been beaten to death with a hammer, a different method than his usual strangulation that was seen on the tapes. The note and subsequent map investigation by the FBI revealed that the map had been downloaded and printed from a website called Expedia.com. After contacting Expedia, authorities were able to obtain the IP address of the person who had downloaded the map. Unfortunately for the perpetrator, he had enclosed an internet-generated map with his typed letter. Police soon traced the map back to the only IP address to download it recently. The user was MSN/Maury Travis. Michael and Sandra Travis welcomed Maury Travis into the world on October 25th, 1965 in St. Louis, Missouri. Travis' parents divorced when he was young, but it's said that he had what most people would consider to be a relatively normal childhood. Travis was known for his quiet nature and social withdrawal throughout his early years. He went through school without drawing much attention, although his first introduction to violence and depraved behavior was early on in his life. Allegedly, Travis would torture insects, which escalated to larger animals. At one point, he would even kill his neighbor's dog. According to Travis, he had been fantasizing about murder since 14 years of age. He fantasized about torturing women and murdering them, but he was seemingly able to keep these desires under control for years. After a fairly ordinary upbringing, Travis enlisted in the Army Reserves right out of high school. He completed his 2 years of military service before enrolling at Morris Brown College in Atlanta. However, he would never complete his education because he became severely addicted to cocaine and started robbing shoe stores to finance his addiction. After serving his time for the robberies in jail, Maury was granted parole and relocated to his mother's house in Ferguson, Missouri. In Chesterfield, he was hired as a server at a fine dining restaurant and even got engaged for a short period of time. But after his fiancée left him, Maury was no longer able to control his dark side. He frequently went to a place in St. Louis called The Stroll, where he picked up sex workers and carried them to his house, where they would smoke crack together. However, none of the women he picked up ever left the modest ranch-style house. Instead, Travis would drag the women into the house's basement, tie them up, and torture them for days on end while filming all of his evil deeds. Travis had transformed his basement into the perfect torture chamber, with bondage equipment, makeshift cells, a stun gun, and newspaper clippings of his victims. On June 7th, 2002, police arrested Travis and began an extensive search of his Ferguson, Missouri home. While being initially interrogated, the suspect refused to directly confess, telling investigators he knew why they had come to get him, and he never would. Before confessing to any of the murders, Travis hanged himself in his jail cell on June 10th, 2002. A full-time guard was posted outside Travis' door, and he was checked on every 15 minutes while he was on suicide watch. Travis, however, took advantage of the opportunity to hang himself in the back corner after the guards missed 2 consecutive checks. In order to kill himself, he braided a thin rope from a torn sheet. 2 counts of kidnapping against him had the potential to result in the death penalty. In his suicide note, he argued that taking one's own life was preferable to a lifetime in prison. He continued by saying that he preferred suicide to being put to death in prison. The case of Maury Travis is likely one of the more disturbing and cruel tales of a serial killer, and there are many to choose from. But the depravity and sadism is just on a different level in this one. And he seemed to really like dragging out the victim's last moments for whatever strange reason, and it's just sad at the end of the day. So remember that while it's easy to focus solely on the perpetrator of a crime, try as well to remember the victims and their families who suffered a loss. But nonetheless, thank you for watching this episode of Horror Vault.